Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name's Stephen. I'm a traditionally published fantasy author. Today I'm doing an introduction to The Warrior. So this is the second book in the duology called A Quest for Heroes. If you have not read The Coward and you don't want to know spoilers, skip this video and I'll do a normal video next week talking about publishing and advice and writing and so on. This is just if you've read The Coward and you're now ready to know a little bit more about The Warrior, what's going on, what happens. This will spoil some of the events from The Coward. So this is your warning, your only final warning. Okay, now we're going to get into it. So at the end of The Coward, Kell has returned home in triumph, again, sort of. But things are very, very different. He's come back and he's closed the loop. He's kind of signed off and he's done with the Ice Lich and it's completely over. Some of his friends are dead. Some of them have gone on to form new lives elsewhere. Willow has gone off and for all intents and purposes they kind of rewrite history again to say that once more he was the sole survivor because it's a better story, it's better PR, it's better for promotion, it's better for songs and stories and all of that kind of thing. And at the very end of the book he basically finds out that he's been sort of trapped again by King Bledsoe, who has died and has now made him the heir to the throne, so he ends up marrying Princess Sigrid. So that's where we start with The Warrior. Some time has passed, it's about sort of a year, 18 months has passed, and now he is King Kell, and he's just really not happy in his life. He felt a bit trapped by what happened. He was ready to go back to the farm, live a quiet life and just forget about everything. Put all of this behind him. He'd put his demons to rest from the frozen north. He got the answers he was seeking by going back a second time. And he was ready to give it all up and just live a quiet life. But now he feels trapped by the king, by responsibility, by duty. Because if he doesn't take on this role, then there's going to be a scramble for power. There's going to be lots of internal problems in the country which could cause all sorts of issues. So he felt that he had to do it for many reasons. And now he's basically living a kind of a lie. He's trying to be a king, but he's not a politician. He doesn't understand the system, whereas his wife was born to be a ruler. But because of the kind of old-fashioned stuffy traditions of saying you have to have a man as the king who rules, he's basically a king only in name. She rules the country. He tried to do it, but he's not qualified. He doesn't know how to do it. And he tried to help her out and it didn't work. There was a rift between them because of the circumstances of how they got married. Something else happens which I won't spoil, which has caused this rift to kind of fester. And he doesn't know what he's doing. He practices his swords. He tries to stay busy, do bits and pieces, but basically he's just kind of bored and trapped and he doesn't know what to do. And then his old friend Willow returns and comes and asks him for a favour and wants him to come with her on a quest to her homeland because the malice, this was the poison that she was also very worried had infected the Five Kingdoms. It hadn't, as it turned out. It wasn't anywhere. It was something else that was causing all of the creatures and monsters in the frozen north to act peculiar. But she was worried that this was the malice. It is not this. However, now is the time for her to return to homeland and try and face this awful poison that's infecting everything. Because her cousin, who was also searching for a cure with her, has come up with a dangerous plan that's probably going to make things much worse. So Willow needs Kell's help to travel with her to her homeland to stop her cousin before he makes things even more, deadly and dangerous and awful for her and everybody else. So we get to go to Willow's homeland. We get to find out where it is. We get to see all of the kind of creatures and the landscape that's totally radically different to the Five Kingdoms. You get to meet many more of her people, many more of the Althea and what they are like. And we have a couple of other characters that travel with Kell. In principle to look after him and support him, but also they have other roles too. So the story splits again. You have Kell's story on the quest and you have Sigrid's story at home, and you have these two kind of sides that are very different stories. Now the title, The Warrior, some people think it refers to Kell, some people think it refers just to Sigrid. In principle, it refers to many characters. Just as The Coward initially may have referred to Kell, it then became a moniker or something that you could put on a number of other people, because as some people have said, People perceived Kell to be a coward, but actually he wasn't really. But through the course of the story in The Coward, you meet other people who have moments that could be called cowardice, or they were troubled and they're struggling with various issues. And again, in this story, there are a number of different warriors. So that's what the title refers to, all of these different people. So just as before with The Coward, even though it was a quest story on the surface, it was very much about something else. It was about what does it mean to be a hero? It's about looking up to our heroes in the wider world that we perceive, whether it's celebrities or something else. And there's the version they present to the public, and then there's the reality of who the person is when nobody's watching. This was very much about the heroes, the sort of great heroes that Kell travelled with. Everybody thought they were fantastic, but he saw what they were like when nobody else was looking. The book was very much about soldiers, people coming back from war and being affected by the traumas and the tragedies that stay with them in the form of PTSD or shell shock, as it used to be called back in the old days. And that's very much what the book is actually about. The quests part of it is very much just the surface, and if you read that and enjoy it, have a good adventure, great. Once again, this is a quest story on purpose. I know this is a trope, but I'm doing it and doing it something different with it again. So this book is not like The Coward. There's lots of other things going on. There is an adventure, there are monsters, there are battles, there are other things going, that you'll see in the story. But under that, there's another whole thing that's going on. And I'm exploring various themes. And there's also a secret pitch to the novel that once you've read it, I can then tell people, and it kind of gives the game away a little bit because it summarises much of what happens in the story. And when I've told a couple of people afterwards, when they've read it, this a light bulb has gone on and suddenly thought, oh, of course, that's what it's actually about. Now I see it, now all the pieces are falling into place. So The Warrior is out now, or very much very soon. It's available to pre-order, and yes, it is in paperback, ebook and audiobook, and the fantastic Matt Wycliffe is doing the audio narration again. He was the narrator for The Coward, and I picked him out of several other ones. And when I listened to his sample of my own material, no less, he made me laugh, which says something about me, but equally it says something about his quality and his skills as a narrator. It was really entertaining, it was funny, it was energizing, and I just loved his energy when I was listening to him read the book. So he's doing the audiobook again. I'm very, very excited to see what people think about this book. And that's it. It wraps up the duology. It's two very separate stories, very, very different in feel, that are obviously connected with Kell and Sigrid as the core of this book, connecting it to the previous one. But that's it. The series is done. Will I ever come back to this world? I don't know. I don't know. There are perhaps other stories to tell. Maybe I'll do some short stories. Maybe I'll explore some other characters, what happened to them or before. It's one of these things that if people really want me to, never say never. You might come back to it. But in the meantime, I'm actually working on something new, and there will be news about that very soon. But that's it for today. Just a quick roundup on The Warrior. Go and pick it up. I'll speak to you soon.